Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Torch Tales, Stories Behind the Hood. I'm your host, Frank Vargas, aka Traveling Frankie, and you guys know how this works. I sit here, somebody sits there, and we happen to have a very organic conversation, and they happen to be in the welding industry. Today, I'm very honored to have someone that I've been trying to have on the channel for a bit, but she plays hard to get. It is what it is. I gotta wait my turn, and so Danea Buschkoetter.
Oh,
Did I
you
say
got it
that?
right. You got it right. Good job.
Wow. See, I'm awesome, especially going late, going to bed late and drinking water all night.
Yeah.
Because that's what a responsible adult does.
Very hydrated.
Danae, thank you very much, love,
Yes.
for being here.
Thank you for finally having me.
I
was
know.
getting to wonder what I did to you to not have.
Well, the
me
list
on
is
here.
long, but we're not going to go into all those
Oh,
things.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll let you know off camera. But thank you, and it's pretty cool because I have been a little bit of a stalker. In fact, last night you pointed it out because I clicked on her LinkedIn. It's like, oh my God, you've been looking at my stuff. I'm like, yeah, because you're going to be on the channel, and that's what I do. Danea, I love so many things that you got going on that I've been learning as I get to know you even more. But we're gonna get into what you do now, how you got here. But let's just go back to the beginning. Where are you from?
Originally from Nebraska. I grew up there and then born and raised, same town, small little town of 250 people.
250 people?
Yep.
Jeez.
Closest grocery store was 20 miles away.
Wow.
As a farming community, my dad's a farmer. My mom was a bank teller at that point. Worked also, depending on the period, also worked at a 911 center. So very active little community that I grew up in.
At a 911 center, so being 250 people, did the phone even ring?
Yes, so she actually covered like a whole area, so it wasn't just that one little town.
Okay, I was
So,
going to
yes,
say, hey,
the
my
phone-
cat, it's not, yeah.
No, the phone did definitely ring.
Okay, got
Yep.
it. And are you the only child?
Yes, only child.
Oh, yeah, she got everything she wanted. So what kind of kid were you? What were you into? Middle school, high school?
Yeah, so I was really active in sports. I grew a fond love of softball from a very early age. I started playing from the age of 4. So little coach pitch softball all the way up. Did traveling softball and high school, doing all the camps and all of that, and really thought softball was going to be like my career when I was young.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you were thinking that because were you actually good?
I thought I was good.
Yeah.
Other people might not have thought of that, but I did hit pretty well.
What position?
I was one of those. I traveled around and did all kinds of different positions, so I played about every position. But when I was ending my career, I was mainly first base or pitcher.
Got it.
There for a little bit, I was designated hitter before I got a shoulder injury, which that's just glorified bench warming.
Yeah.
It wasn't very fun, but they needed someone that could hit the ball. So, yeah.
So now, as you see the end of your career coming to an end, in softball,
Yep.
what are you thinking? What's the first thing that you start thinking that it's going to make you a responsible adult to, put food on the table, even though you were probably still living with your parents and all that? But
Yeah.
what was that first thing that you got? Okay, I guess that's out. Next.
Yeah. So me growing up in a small rural farming community, I wanted to be an FFA because all the cool kids did it.
Yeah.
And with that, you had to be in an agriculture class. And so the only one available at that point, so I was about a freshman or sophomore at that point, was an intro to everything. So horticulture, animal science, small engines, electricity, and welding.
Oh, okay.
So we got an intro to all of those things.
Gotcha.
And that's kind of where I found welding.
So out of everything that you just mentioned, why welding piqued your interest?
I liked some of the horticulture stuff, but welding right off the bat was I was terrified of it. I didn't want to do it. I refused to do it in class, and pretty much my teacher had to sit down with me and was like, if you don't do it, you're going to fail my class. And I didn't want to lose my GPA and all of that just because I was too scared to try something.
Yeah.
So I came in after class with an upperclassman, and I can remember it, welding with 6013 on a old Miller machine and striking my first arc. Welding some beads. The student that was helping me was like, have you ever done this before? And I'm like, if I'd done it before, I wouldn't be sitting here after class having to.
So did
having
he
to
ask
do
you,
it.
have you ever done it before? Because you had a nice consistent bead, a nice
Yeah.
hand,
Yeah.
So he
It
thought
came
that
a little bit
you
more
did-
natural to most.
Gotcha.
Not to sound cocky by any means, but
You women, God, they're always so good at welding, right from the get-go. We got to work 10 times harder, and, you guys already have just stacking dimes, but
Yeah.
good for you.
yep.
But there you go. Now you see it. Now you go like, I guess, I can do this. I'm not. My hair is not on fire.
Yep.
I'm cool. Did you continue the whole thing? Did you ended up actually learning there?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, I thought meteorology was going to be like my career choice when I left high school because again, it was something I was deathly afraid of. I hated like tornadoes and living right in the middle of Tornado Alley.
Yeah.
My parents always told me if I was scared of something to learn about it.
Okay.
And so like I'm the nerd that like if I'm trying to learn, like if I'm learning something, I like dive all in and like focus all my energy on that one thing and like learn all the things I can learn about it. And
so you want to be on the back of the truck like the movie Tornado and setting the
yeah,
things.
that's what I wanted to do. And
yeah.
then I job shadowed, which I recommend every student trying to figure out what they want to do is to go out and job shadow.
Yeah.
And I job shadowed at the National Weather Service and a local TV station, and I quickly found out that I would not I would not be happy the rest of my life doing that.
Nice.
Because I only like the storm aspect of it.
Correct.
So.
Yeah. That's what I figured because I've had conversations with people before, from your neck of the woods, and they've mentioned something similar, and they're like, yeah, I just wanted the action. I wanted, the whole just like let's go find what's going to happen out there. Yeah, which is very common with a lot of us when we're younger. We just want. Yeah, let's go. And then you're like, well, you also got to do all this boring thing behind doors. I'm like, oh, no,
There's
not
a lot
me.
more boring than there is action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now you go like, okay, second thing, no.
Yep.
And now you start thinking, actually welding now?
Yeah. So there for a little bit, I was thinking maybe doing both of them, like building a storm chasing vehicle and doing all that fun stuff. But while I was in high school and I grew to love welding, I started competing in FFA and becoming really successful, winning competitions and stuff like that. And so I went and job shadowed at Case IH in Grand Island, Nebraska. So they're building the big Case combines.
Okay, got it.
And that day I actually got to sit on the floor and watch the people build the feeder houses, which is where like the head attaches to the combine. And I fell in love with just being able to see how things were built. Like I was always watching how it was made when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so that was just super eye-opening, and just seeing all the different places I could go with it. I was like, all right, welding is gonna be my choice.
Really?
Yeah.
So now, what's the first job you got in welding that is actually paying you?
Yeah. So senior year of high school, even I quit. I used to work in high school. I was working at a grocery store. I worked there for 4 years.
At the one grocery store in town.
That one grocery store.
Yeah.
And my cousin recently, he was a couple years older than me. He went and started his own welding business. So building permanent fence out of oil field pipe, or we were doing pivot bridges since we're in farming country.
Yeah, of course.
There's like the creeks and stuff. We'd build like a bridge that would let that
cattle, whatever the animals.
Or let the pivot cross the creek so it continued to irrigate the fields. Fabrication and repair stuff. We did all kinds of one-off stuff.
Got it.
So that was my first job.
So you're there, and what kind of processes were you using there the most?
Mostly MIG or stick. So it just kind of depended. If we were out in the field, we had a rig on our truck, and we were building by that.
And now that you have, and we'll go back and forth, but now that you have all this experience, what is your best process? Like, which one is the one that you're the best at, but which one is the one that you really like the most? Is it the same answer?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I would say TIG welding.
Yeah?
That's what I've grown to love.
Of course, you're going to say TIG welding. Everyone's TIG welding.
But I'm growing a really fond love of laser, just because of my experience and what I'm doing right now.
Of course. So here you are. So how long were you working there for your cousin, or with your cousin?
About 2 years.
2 years.
So I did my senior year of high school, and then I also worked through my first year of college.
Gotcha. So now you go to college, and what are you thinking in college? You still just, I'm going to keep going on the welding side and learning.
Yeah, so at that point in life, I was thinking I was going to do 9 months of college, where everyone else in my class did, a full 4 years or whatever, and do 9 months and be done and go find a job, which is what I thought my thought was going to be.
And you say that because that's not what happened.
Correct. I ended up going on for more school.
Yeah.
So the welding program I attended was NCK Tech, or North Central Kansas Technical College. And they had a program with the local university where you could take classes through the university, but you'd graduate as a student from NCK Tech. Because they had it was a welding engineering associate's degree. So I got introduced to drafting, CNC programming, machining, running a lathe and mill, all of that kind of stuff.
Cool.
3D printing.
CAD,
Yeah, a lot of like applied
Got it.
technology stuff. So that also made me take a turn in my career, because at that point, after I ended my 9-month welding program, which if you're from that area, you know it's one of the harder ones to do.
Yeah.
Because you're going to class from 7:30 to 4 every day. You got a half hour for lunch, and I mean you're doing what most people would do in 2 years
Yeah.
for a welding certificate. We packed into 9 months.
Wow.
So it was really rigorous. I think technically I was taking like 22 credit hours each semester.
Yeah, that is a lot.
By the time I was, done with my first year of college, I had 44 credit hours under my belt, which is
So going through
crazy.
that, such a tough schedule, and packing so much in such a short time, what was your disconnect? What was, what did you do for fun that it was like, I can't wait to get out of school and the weekend gets here so I can do what?
So when I was in my first year of college, I pretty much focused my entire time on that.
So
like
you
on
were
the
a loner?
weekends,
You were?
well, I had friends, yes, but like on the weekends, I was always trying to catch up, like make sure I was ahead for the week.
Yeah.
So doing my homework ahead of time, that way I was ready to go for
Yeah.
the next week, or just like vegging out,
Yeah.
spending time with family, just
Cool.
laying back.
So now you are, definitely welding. You're learning all aspects of fabrication and processes and the lingo. And what was the second job you got in welding?
So this is where I kind of had a little bit of a turn. So when I did
She keeps turning.
I did.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of different things in my short time.
Which is
and in my
great.
career.
Which is why you are good at what you do, because all these experiences that you've had make you who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in my second year of college, at this point, I was doing an internship because they had a job fair, and I was like, oh, I'll go, see what this is. And that internship led me to a millwork company.
Okay.
So I was designing, cabinetry and furniture and stuff
Okay.
like that. So I got kind of out of the welding industry for a little bit. And that was based in Amarillo, Texas. And so if you ever go to West Texas A&M, the union, I designed all of the cabinetry inside of that union hall, from, the tables that people sat at to the counters. Like they had a Chick-fil-A in there. And
So was that the first time you ever left town?
yeah.
How was that?
Well, technically no, because
Okay.
obviously college I was away.
Yeah.
But that was the first time I
For as an
that was-
adult,
that was the
adulting.
that was the farthest away I'd been from
Yeah.
any of my family.
And was it easy? Were you nervous at all?
I was nervous, yeah,
Yeah?
just because I didn't know anyone other than there was one other gal that I went to college with that also took the same internship that I did. So that kind of helped.
And how long were you there?
It was over the summer, so about 3 months or whatever.
Okay, got it. That was very doable.
Yeah.
So now you do that. You come back home.
Yep.
And-
And I continued college. So
Oh.
I thought I was just going to get an
So
associate's
yeah, I
degree.
know, right? Here's the person like, I'm just gonna go for like 8, 9 months or whatever. Here we are, 10 years later, and that guy went back to college. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I was one of those people, I hated school, but
Yeah.
I continued on because I was still falling in love with it. So with doing my, the program I did, so
Yeah.
where I graduated as with my associate's degree, I figured out that I could easily have a bachelor's degree if I just hung around for 2 more years and gained more debt.
Nice.
So I chose that option because, why not?
yeah, of course.
And then I got my bachelor's degree in manufacturing. So it went more in depth with the programming, the designing,
Gotcha.
different processes. I learned how to pour iron. So melting iron down or
Yeah.
aluminum down or bronze down, and pouring stuff, doing foundry stuff, blacksmithing, all kinds of different metalworking stuff.
So that's kind of where you learn how to do the castings and all that for
Yeah.
some of the stuff that you do, because you also do metal art.
Yes.
But me as an outsider looking in, not everyone knows that you do metal art.
Yeah,
like you're almost like on the DL.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, is that on purpose or is it because you don't have enough time to?
I don't have enough time to dedicate the amount of time that the people that are always showing that they're doing that. to do
Correct.
that. I absolutely love to just go out into my garage and
Yeah.
build stuff. Because most recently what I've been doing is trophies for the drag and drive that I compete in
Okay.
every summer.
Correct.
And that's artwork. So
Yeah, of course.
I'll be creating stuff like that. But
That's cool.
Yeah.
So here you are now. Let's say you are completely 100% done with college, and now you actually have all this knowledge behind you, and you are worth something now because you have that's why you go to school for. What's the first big time adult job that you got in welding? That
Yeah.
at that moment, whether I don't know if it's the one, but you go, oh, I made it. This is why I went to school.
So I actually found that job in my last year of college. So I was actually working as a millwright. I was working full time on the road, being a millwright, plus still going to school full time. And we were traveling everywhere, from Hays, Kansas to Denver. If you go on I-70, I've worked on every single grain elevator that you can see from the interstate.
Really?
So in that job, I was either above ground or below ground, and very rarely on just level ground.
Flat level, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
I absolutely love that job because it was a problem-solving job.
Correct.
We welded for the most part, here and there. So not every day were you welding, but I still got to use that trade that I learned. And when it was April of my last year of college, my boss came up to me and was like, hey, as soon as you graduate, I'm going to promote you to lead millwright, and then you get to be in charge of one of the crews and go out and work. And this company was based out of Canada, and we never saw it coming, but on a Friday at like 6 p.m., we got notice that they went into receivership and we didn't have a job.
What the hell?
Yeah. So there's only
Did your boss knew? Or
no one knew. And we even had
came from corporate or whatever.
Yeah. And we even had people in from corporate like 2 weeks before that, and didn't even get a lick of like, hey, the company's not doing well. But our office, we had about 10 of us in our office, and we were the most profitable office out of all of them, even corporate.
Wow.
And like 3 days before we got our email notice that we accepted like a $3.5 million job, and we were gearing up for that, and then just poof, done.
Wow. That's crazy. But that also goes to show you, things happen in life for a reason.
Yep.
Because had you stayed there, and if that, didn't happen, you probably would have stayed in that circle a lot longer, or maybe even moved up a couple more ranks, and like, that's it, this is what I do.
Yep.
So in a way, that pushed you to all these other things that you have done that you're doing now. So so now you go like, okay, cool, I don't have a job, now what?
Yeah, so I'm freaking out because I'm set to graduate in May, and I'm like, everyone else has a job, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And the timing of everything is crazy. So I'm walking to class through the union, and my welding instructor calls me, and he's like, hey, the instructor because it's a dual instructor program, so there's 2 instructors. He's like, hey, the other instructor is going to leave. He had an incredible opportunity come up for him, and I was wondering if you'd want to come back and teach. Like, I can remember that day vividly, walking through the union, and my instructors...
How long from finding out, like, hey, I'm out of a job, to getting that call?
It was within a couple of days. Like, it was crazy how the world worked.
Yeah.
And going through college, my instructors at the university were all like, you should be an instructor, you should be an instructor. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be an instructor. And like I said, I can vividly remember that day. Walking to class, I went through class, I was still absorbing like the phone call that just happened. And then I also worked for the department that I was in for school. So I was one of the assistants to one of the professors. And I walked back to go to work that afternoon. And I'm like, you're not going to believe what happened. And he's like, you're going to become an instructor. I'm like, how'd you know? And he just had an inkling. And
really?
Yeah.
That is so, what's amazing is that many, many times in life, people see things in us that we are not even close to seeing. And once someone brings it up, you're like, huh, could I? Maybe? And then you go from like, oh yeah, okay, now I get it. So you take the job, I'm assuming.
Yep, took the job.
And you were a welding instructor now. Was that the title?
Yeah, welding instructor.
Okay.
Yep.
And I know you did that for how long?
So at that school, I did it for 4 years. So I taught at the school that I went to school at for 4 years.
How was that feeling? Just being...
It was crazy to be back. It was different to be on the backside of that. But it was really rewarding to be where I was. Part of the reason why I chose the school I did when I went to school was because they competed in Skills USA.
Oh,
and
okay.
Me being a competitive person,
course, yeah.
I wanted to continue that. So it was going to be really cool to be able to be on the flip side of that and be able to teach students or, train them
get them to the next level,
be able to compete at a state and national level.
That is so awesome. So you're there 4 years. What happened that only 4 years?
So I had another opportunity present itself, and another community college down the road had asked if I would want to create a welding program for them for the new technical facility that they were building. And at that point, I'm like, how could you say no to building a program from scratch?
Yeah.
So I ended up doing that. I went there and I created that program within 2 years, brand new facility. 1 instructor program. We had about 10 booths in there, plasma table, iron worker, bandsaw, weld test, bin tester. I packed as much as I could in the little spot that I had in that building.
Were you already involved with AWS
Oh, yeah.
then? Like
Yeah.
when did you learn about AWS
So-
and when did you start really being more active with AWS?
Yeah. I knew about AWS when I was in college because we did the sense level programming that AWS offers. So I got certificates through that. So I knew about AWS when I was in college. But it wasn't until maybe my second or third year of teaching that I was like, I really want to get involved. I knew how much AWS can do for my students and the opportunities that it can, lead me to.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's kind of when I started getting involved with them, attending my section meetings all the time. So the state of Kansas is pretty much the entire section. So at that point, I was traveling, 2 hours one way for a meeting. I'm just super dedicated to the welding industry, very passionate about it. A lot of people don't know what's built in the state of Kansas. Like, there's a lot of stuff that people rely on a daily basis.
Oh, really? Give me a couple of things.
An airplane.
Yeah, I guess I use that a lot.
Yeah. Being one of them. Agriculture-wise,
of course,
feed the world.
that
Stuff is built. There's all kinds of different things that are built in Kansas.
Yeah, I guess.
Or in Nebraska.
I guess they are very important. Two of the things that I do the most: fly and eat. All right, I got it. Yep. So that's pretty cool. And now you are also exposed to AWS. You're making the drive. That's dedication. And you are now building, or you build this program for this other school. And you were there for how long?
2 years.
2 years.
And then I had another opportunity present itself.
Got it.
And that's where I'm at now.
All right. Which is what?
So I'm a handheld laser welding system and a Cobot specialist. So laser and Cobot specialist. But I like to differentiate between laser table and handheld laser because I've got another guy that does laser table stuff with me at work. So.
Okay. So what is the difference?
Cutting table is going to use a bigger kilowatt machine to cut through material, obviously.
Gotcha.
And then the handheld units are welding rather than cutting. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
And this opportunity, and who is it that you work for?
Lampton Welding Supply. So we're a very large, I wouldn't say that. We're a large independent. In my area, we're one of the biggest independents in my area.
Yep. And how is that, coming from actually working the field, as a welder and, traveling, so on, building a program for a school, teaching, and now you have to use all that knowledge, but change your mindset on not only being the technical person, but also now selling, because now that is not everyone can sell and not everyone is technical. And when you find a little bit of both on one person, like, oh, awesome. How is that part with you?
I would say I'm working on it. So I've been doing it for about 6 or 7 months now.
Okay.
And I'm really now into it. My first couple months, it was a pretty slow start. But I would say it's getting better. Because like the laser side of things, I didn't really know much about.
Gotcha.
I knew the robotic side of things just because of my experience. Of course. So it's been a ride. It's been interesting to know or figure out that not a lot of people at all know about handheld lasers.
Correct.
And trying to find the right people.
Especially probably, I'm not sure if by sectors, meaning I'm not sure if, Kansas or that area, versus let's say someplace like New York, people will know more in New York that, they would know in Kansas about laser welding, maybe because of everything else that's going on versus that city. So I wonder if that plays a part. But what about the social aspect of being in sales? Because when I first met you, I knew you were kind of cool. We have a thing going on anyway. So, but I thought that you were more on the reserved, quiet side, almost like an introvert that becomes an extrovert only in a very safe space with people you know.
Yep.
Is that about right?
Yeah, that's a good way to put that.
Okay.
Yep.
I told you guys I'm good. Yeah. So being in sales, people that you don't know, that you just walk in, and you have to break the ice very quickly because they got to trust you. They got to feel comfortable with you. How are you coping with that aspect of the selling? Not the I know how to plug it. I know how to, whatever.
I would say I'm doing okay. I mean, when I need to be, I can be that person that has to, initiate the conversation and break the ice. So I wouldn't say I'm really struggling with that. I think the biggest struggle in my new position is selling what I'm trying to
The
sell.
one SKU.
I've got the two hard, in my opinion, some of the two hardest pieces of equipment you could sell in the welding industry. And at this point
correct
in
at this
time.
moment, yeah, for sure. And how? Because that's the thing, we were having this conversation. So you go to a small shop or or whatever, a big fab, and first, of course, you're looking at what they're using, what they're building. How can this one product? And I'm sure this is probably the way the thinking goes. All right, you're making 30 of this. You're using this. You're using 3 people on that. This machine in a year pays off. In 6 months pays off. When someone is interested, how long does it normally take them to pull the trigger? Like, yeah, let me get that $30,000, $40,000 deal plus the cage plus everything else. Yeah, I'll buy 2.
Yeah, it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
I would say it's a couple month ordeal, just because it is a big investment.
It is.
And I would say it would be a quicker sales cycle if it wasn't, like, when it comes to the laser, just the safety aspect of things.
Correct.
There's a lot that has to go into it on the safety side of things.
Especially because because the brands that you guys are pushing the most comes with a lot of safety check boxes for you to get there.
Yeah.
Because there's other people out there, other brands that like, yeah, sure, here's one, here's your glasses, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
Press the trigger, we're good to go.
Yeah.
But some brands and some companies or some distributors, they want to make sure that, yeah, you can buy it, but you need all these other things.
Just trying to look out for your customer, because a lot of people don't realize if you don't have the right safety procedures for laser, since it's a class 4 laser, it's the strongest laser that you can use.
Correct.
And it's dangerous because it's invisible. That's the biggest danger. That you can get into a lot of trouble with, like OSHA and stuff like that if you get caught not having the right
Has
safety
OSHA
procedures.
up to date now on that side? Because I know that it was so new and it hit everything so it's not new. Laser is not new, but what's the word I'm looking for? The excitement behind it. It really hit very quickly, very hard.
Yes.
So I don't think OSHA was completely caught up with, like, oh crap, what do we do with this? Do you think now OSHA is like more there?
I would still say it's a work in progress, but there's definitely more obvious, like, regulation and stuff than there probably was 5 years ago. Now obviously I wasn't hot into it 5 years ago, so I don't know exactly maybe what that point looked like at that point, but. Like, every person that has a laser is supposed to have a laser safety officer. A lot of people don't realize that, which they're like, what is that? Well, that's a matter of you need to understand what that laser beam can do if, it goes, through your eyeball.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to permanently do damage in a matter of seconds, and a lot of people don't.
Yep, exactly.
Don't realize that, or are scared of that.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's good. And now, doing that, how much travel do you do?
Traveling.
What's the area you cover to begin with?
So Lampton Welding Supply covers Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Missouri.
Okay.
We've got about 17 locations in those states, mainly in Kansas and Oklahoma. We got our start in Wichita, Kansas.
Okay.
80 years ago, yeah. It's our 80th birthday this year.
You look great.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, we've been in the industry for 80 years.
So you cover, as a specialist, you give support to all those areas.
Yep. So we've got about, we've added some to our team. We're growing. We've got some big benchmarks we're trying to hit within the next couple of years as a company. But we've got about 27 sales guys that I work with on a regular basis.
Okay.
Some more than others, just because of the customer market that they have. All over. Like.
Have you ever, now, because you're still, in our industry, you're still so young, but so accomplished nowadays when it comes to, the welding knowledge that you have behind you. When you come in and they see you, you are the specialist, not because you're a woman, but because you're younger. Do you ever encounter that they're not quite trusting or know how to gauge you from the beginning? Because, like, here's another young person trying to tell me, she's probably on her TikTok or whatever. Yep.
So I haven't really, the customers that I've been around, there are some pretty down to earth people.
Cool.
I mean, I'm in the Midwest,
Well,
so everyone's, for the most part,
Yeah.
pretty chill. Obviously, you're going to have a few that you're
Yeah.
kind of like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it really helps being a specialist. So I do demos as well. That's part of my thing. We've got our own laser demo room, or we can go with the trailer, and go right to that customer. And then we'll actually take cobots into customers and run parts and stuff with them. So as soon as I start running the machines and stuff like that, it helps.
It answers
the
all
deal.
the questions.
Yeah.
That's cool. And with AWS, I know that you are heavily part of your section, and and you got all kind of accolades and titles and stuff. So what's your title with AWS now?
Yeah, so with AWS, I'm the vice chair for the Kansas section. I really help my chair as he's an instructor and is also trying to complete his doctorate's degree as well. So
Okay.
he's got a lot going on, but I try to help him. And then I am a future leader for AWS. So I sit on the board as a non-voting member, or the national board. So I get to sit at the table and
Gotcha.
see what's going on within the organization.
So explain to me a little bit. I've been part of AWS for a long time as well. When you say, or when anyone says, I'm part of the future leader, board or whatever, what does a future leader means?
So it was a 2-year process for me. So
Okay.
it's a process. It's not just anyone can
Yeah.
go and be a part of it.
Correct.
They only select 2 individuals a year.
Yep.
So 2 years ago, I started the process to become a part of it. So you put in an application, you answer all these questions, you turn in your resume. There are some requirements for being a future leader, like
Gotcha.
age is one of them. You have to be under 35. And then CWI or educator
Got it.
are part of that. So I started that, and I interviewed. So they'll look through the applicants,
Of
they'll
course.
narrow it down to a
Exactly.
few, and then they'll start the interview process. So they've got people or a group of people
Yeah.
that are a part of that interview process, and then they go from there.
Got it.
And so last year I didn't get it. I was super bummed, but at that point, the president at AWS was like, "Hey, you should keep going
Applying,
with
yeah.
it." Yeah, which was Mike Krupnicki. He was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"You should really keep. Don't get frustrated. It's not like
Yeah.
you're like on the last year and you can't do it." So I reapplied, got down to the same process again, and then got selected to be a part of it.
Cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And because I know you're going to you're coming down to Miami in May, right?
Yeah. So with the board, we've got our 2 board meetings a year. One in the spring, which is always at headquarters, and then the other one's at FabTech. So those are the 2 big weeks that
Got
we
it.
all get together.
And how is Lampton, that you work for, how flexible are they with knowing that, you're also part of this and that it's going to demand some extra time in certain things for you to go and be part of?
Yeah, so right off the gate, I said that I'm a part of this. And at that point, I was transitioning because I heard that I, got to be selected to be
later.
a part of it. And so right off the gate, I was like, I had this opportunity. I've been in the process of trying to become one and, just pretty much laid it out
Yeah, of course.
from the beginning. Like, hey, I'm super
Very
active.
transparent,
This
yeah.
is very, this is a passion
It's
of mine.
important for me, yeah.
Yeah. And being a welding distributor, they know the importance of being
Yeah,
active
of course.
within, the AWS.
The community and everything, yeah.
Yeah, just the networking that it
Of
can
course.
bring, which now that since I'm super active, I have some of my sales guys that are seeing, what it could really do for them. And
Yeah.
that's even helped them get customers by some of the people that I know just from the
Yeah.
AWS.
Gotcha.
It's brought them business. So they're
Cool.
fully supportive.
That's awesome. And I know that we are here, that we came here to support a mutual friend, here meaning Bakersfield, California. And you're here with your mom, which I think is pretty cool. Way cooler than you, by the way.
She is pretty cool.
Yeah. So, kudos on that. I told you this. Hey, I love to see that relationship you guys have. That is pretty cool. And you're traveling around. I know that before you came to Bakersfield, you did a little bit of a road trip on LA or something.
Yeah, we flew into LA just because of time-wise. That was
Yeah.
like we were trying. My mom and I are like the vacationers that want to see and do the most that we can do and not
Yeah.
relax. Like
Yeah.
I don't know of a relaxing vacation.
Yeah.
So, we figured out that LA we could get in fairly early just by where we were flying out of, and so we rented a car. We went and saw the Hollywood stars. That's definitely not what
Not
you would
what
think.
they sell to you.
It
yeah.
looks way better on TV than what it actually is. But, got to see that, went up to the observatory so we could see the Hollywood sign
Yeah,
and
of
get
course.
a good, lay of the land.
Yeah.
And then Allison said that Santa Barbara I would fall in love with,
Yeah.
and it
And
is
you did?
incredible. Yes.
Yeah.
It's just a cool, casual town.
It
They
is.
did a lot of restriction when the town was, being built and stuff like that. So, it's not like these huge
Correct,
skyscrapers.
yeah.
And
Yeah, they wanted to keep it, kind
a
of an
small
old looking,
town
yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is pretty cool. And now you go back home when?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Stupid early, but
Tomorrow it's Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
Monday.
Yep.
Got it. And you go right back to work?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Good for you.
Yep.
I also heard that you are into racing.
Yes.
What kind of racing?
Drag racing.
Okay.
So,
Are you still active?
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up watching motorsports
Okay.
with my dad. You know,
Yeah.
on Sundays, we'd, you know, chill on the couch and watch people turn left turns all the time.
Yeah.
And being where
Yeah.
I'm at, everyone does dirt track racing.
Of course.
And so I always knew I wanted to race some way or some
Yeah.
form. And then I found drag racing, which is the most practical way because you can race your car on the, the street. The car that you drive on the street, you can race.
Yep.
And so I've got a 1982 El Camino that I'm building a cage for, LS
really?
swapping it, doing all the things.
Nice.
So
And so do you like the thrill of competing against someone next to you, or do you like speed?
yes.
To both? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Have you won anything?
So I've only really competed in 2 events just because of time and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I compete in Rocky Mountain Race Week, which
Okay.
happens usually in the Rockies. The last couple of
Okay.
years, it's been down through
Good.
Oklahoma
I'm
and
glad it
Texas.
goes with the name. Yeah.
Yeah. But one of my favorite tracks closed up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bandamere Speedway, but they're in the process of building one. But with drag and drive events, you can't trailer your race vehicle from track to track, and you have to have like all the tools and stuff that you would need for that
so
week.
this is part of the rules,
on
the
you.
guidelines. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of us have our little like 4x8 trailers that we haul everything in behind us, and we don't take any interstates, and essentially it's a road rally in between.
Yeah.
So we've gotten certain checkpoints and stuff that we've got to hit,
Got
otherwise
it.
we get disqualified.
Huh.
So-
And so is that how many days is that?
Usually about 5 or 6 days, depending
okay.
on where we're
And
at.
is it a solo driving? or
You can have a co-pilot.
oh, you could.
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
cool. All right. And so now that how do you? First of all, you got to give some things. There's no way you can do everything that you want because of a full-time job, because of being part of AWS. I know that you love lifting weights as well.
Yep.
Getting up at stupid hours. Overachievers. I hate them. Is that kind of a way of just decompressing? That just like, ooh, this is my me time. This is me sweating and not thinking about anything else.
Yep.
Did you always continue to work out through? Because I also learned, but you guys know, this is where the part where I ask a question, I interrupt before they even answer anything. She already knew that. I also learned in this trip that you were a bouncer for a bit,
Yep.
And I heard a story that you threw out a 80-year-old.
Hey, you're switching this around.
I'm gonna, of course, I gotta make it more dramatic. But anyway, you were a bouncer for a second, for less than a year.
Yep. That was one of my college jobs.
How does that happen? You are there at a bar and they go, hey, you want a job? You want to be our bouncer? Like, how do you get that bouncer job?
Pretty much I knew a couple of the guys that worked there, and they needed a female bouncer, obviously.
Yeah, because Pat things that they can't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I got in
Really?
there, working with my.
Was that a fun job?
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
I had his moments, like cleaning up puke and alcohol.
Oh, that was part of the job?
Yeah, that was part of the job.
Oh, no, yeah.
That was the worst part of the job.
Yeah.
But
Everything
it was,
else sounds good, but not that part.
We had to help clean up at the end of the night, but it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
What do you like the most that is just your thing? Like your thing, not that you are part of this, AWS or Lampton or just me, Danea. What is the one thing that is just yours that you love the most that you do?
Honestly, probably working out.
Yeah?
But then the last year, I've challenged myself to continue. Like I would always do, I'd work out for 2 or 3 months and then not work out type deal. But I've been solidly working out 4 to 6 days a week since December of last year, so
Really?
2024. Right? Yeah.
I'll tell you know, I don't.
Yeah, 2024.
Okay.
So for a solid year, I've worked out, and that's just my time where I can jam out to music, zone out, and just
Nice.
lift heavy stuff.
Cool.
So,
Well,
that's
I know.
my therapy.
I see your post. I'm definitely, I'm like, God, there she is, 5 a.m. or whatever the hell. I'm like, and I'm getting up at, 8:30 and haven't done crap in my day. But you know what? I got to tell you, definitely you have a great aura around you. You're still kind of a L in my book, but that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. That's a good thing.
Yep.
I think you're pretty cool. Definitely, I love, how you carry yourself. And I haven't met in our circles, we do know a lot of mutual friends, and I haven't met anyone that says anything negative about you. And I've tried, I've asked, I've tried very hard. But that speaks very highly of you. Everyone does. So I'm glad to see not just female, a younger person, or whatever, just to see a good person that really cares, about what she does, cares about the industry, and promotes the industry the right way. So I'm glad to now have gotten to know you even more and more, as the time goes by. So you are one of those faces now that if I know I'm at an event, I'm like, where the hell is she? So
Vice versa.
Yeah, thank you. So definitely it's an honor, to get to know you even more and mess with you as much as I can, because it's easy. But no, it's been great, and I just wish the best for everything else that's going to come your way, which I know is going to be a great thing and great things. And don't stop making art, because the couple of pieces that you showed me, that casting and everything, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like I knew you could build things, but I thought that you were more of a lineal, kind of right brain.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that you have that as well, and you should mess with that a lot more. Where would you like to see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oof, that's a loaded question. That's a hard question. With the new job, it kind of took me in a direction I didn't see coming. So I really would like to be settled in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, because right now I'm like stressed out, trying to hit the benchmarks, trying to get,
Of course.
just
trying to prove yourself because you're new. Yeah.
Prove myself and just find that groove of like actually selling.
Yeah.
I would really like to be one of the main people when it comes to laser, because there's really not that many people out there that know a lot about it, or at least share a lot about it, right? There's probably people out there that just don't put stuff on social media and stuff like that. Because it is one of those processes. I would say it's been only around for 5 or 6 years in the United States, so like not anyone really knows about it.
Yeah.
So being a leader in the industry for laser would be definitely one of the things. And then, like I said, just continue on my journey with AWS and what I'm doing. Yeah. Get my race car finished. I've been saying that for the last 5 years that I'm going to get it done.
Once we get in these kind of jobs, everything gets in the back seat.
I would say since this job, I've been able to buy more car parts, so that has helped in me getting that a little bit faster going.
Well, when you make more money, you can buy more things. Yes. That's just the way it works.
Yes.
Yeah. But thank you for saying yes this morning. Thank you for sharing a little bit of where you come from, who you are, where are you now, and where are you headed. So I appreciate that you just taking the time this early on, because for me, after the last few days being up even at 8 a.m. is like, oh man, this sounds like work. But then I remember who I was going to have as a guest. I'm like, of course, that's icing on the cake. So thank you very much for your friendship. Yep. Keep kicking ass. And now let's go support another friend.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.